Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to artofmanslife. My name is Ali. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're keeping well. So something slightly different to the usual videos that I post. I thought it would be fun to share with you some recent pickups. I'm not just a Lego fan, but I'm a huge fan of anything related to video games, especially retro video games, anime, manga, comics, books, movies, music, you name it. I'm generally an all-round nerd and geek when it comes to pop culture stuff. So I thought it would be good fun to share some recent pickups that I got across a variety of genres, so then we can all collectively have a little nerd out, geek out session. There's some chapters in the video, so feel free to jump around to any of the areas that interest you. This may become a ongoing series. We'll see how this one goes, and let me know if you want to see more of these kind of things or not. But for me, I thought this would be a great way just to express some of my geeky passion for some of the stuff that I got recently. So grab a coffee, tea, and let's sit back and nerd out. So of course we have to kick things off with some Lego pickups that I've done. So I only got two sets recently, and the first one is finally I took the plunge and got the Statue of Liberty architecture set. I think it's retiring this year, and I saw this at a very good price in Amazon. So I thought I might as well pick this up because I probably will put this in the city somehow. I think that's going to look pretty cool. My brother does have this set and it does look pretty nice. I think he's modified the face because I remember there's some controversy about that face. It's like, what? What is that? So I'm going to take this and I potentially will work it in to the city somehow, maybe with, instead of the torch, maybe Captain America's shield or something like this as a homage to the Spider-Man movie. So I'm really looking forward to do that. And if not, it is a pretty decent display piece. It's still a sight I haven't seen yet in real life. Going to New York is probably one of the things on my list of things of travel to do that I haven't managed to quite do yet, which is unbelievable considering the travel I've been doing. But I will one day go there, and I've always loved this iconic landscape. The other Lego that I got was actually not for me, but it was for my son, and we got the new Minecrafting table. He doesn't know I got this for him, so it's a bit of a surprise. He doesn't watch my videos, so I think it's safe to still surprise him with this. But I did like this actually. I think this is going to be a nice, pretty cool set to display with. He's a big fan of Minecraft, so he plays it all the time with his friends and he creates his own world. So I am just really bad at it. When I play with him, I'm just like, okay, what do we do? I'm just not quick enough with that. So I'm not a big fan of Minecraft personally myself. So this is really for my son to enjoy. I have to choose a time when I have to give it to him. Let's see when that happens. So you all know potentially that I also have no problem going with alternative Lego companies and sets. And I picked up recently a modular building by Funwhole. The last Funwhole set I got was a newsstand set, which I was really impressed with. It was very cheap, 30 pounds I think it was I got from Amazon, or maybe 35 is probably the max you should pay for it. But it was great. It was a beautiful little set, cute little set with lighting at 30 pounds, which is just incredible in my view. So I thought I'd give the modular building set. And this is actually part of a new video that I'm working on at the moment, which is the cheapest modular buildings you can get from the top Lego or building block brands. So I'm really looking forward to do that and show you guys and try and rank them and see that. So that'll be coming up soon, so that'll be really interesting. I've got a couple of other buildings from that I need to get from Pantasy and probably Carter as well. I'm still doing my research on that, but definitely I'm looking forward to building that one already. Now, the next set I got, when I saw it first time, I knew I had to get it. It's anime related, and if you've seen probably one of my other videos, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But just to give you a clue, yep, that's right, it is the Saint Seiya set from Pantasy. I mean, how awesome is this? I cannot wait to crack this open, build it, and show you guys all about it. I mean, this is gonna look amazing. And I'm not really a display Lego person. Most of my sets that I buy are for the city or to be manipulated in the city or for parts. But when I saw this, I thought, oh, this is something from my childhood of watching this series that I knew I had to get. And it looked beautiful. I mean, it looks beautiful. Look at it. It looks amazing. And the box is great as well. I mean, look at that. It's got all the articulation. So, oh, it's amazing. And you know what? The theme tune, Pegasus Fantasy, I'd love to see that live, if I can, in my lifetime. It's still an amazing theme tune to have etched into my childhood memories. So that's amazing. So this is probably my favorite pickup recently. So let me know if you're interested in me doing this one, because I'm gonna do it anyway, because it's awesome. So the other part of the time that I spend, you know, with non-adulting tasks is I play video games. Not as much as I would love to, because adulting life gets in the way. But I do play quite a few of the modern games, and especially a lot from retro gaming as well, because I grew up in the era of, you know, the Commodore 64, the Amiga, the PlayStation 1, the PS2, you name it, so from that time ago, and the arcades. So I love to collect a lot of the video games, mainly because I am a bit of an idiot, and I do so from FOMO, because I think in my head that I would have this magically created time to play all these games. I can only but dream. But nonetheless, and even the games that I play aren't, you know, the quick action games that you can complete in relatively short amount of time. I play Japanese role-playing games a lot, and these are sprawling epics, you know, 30 to 100 hours per game, and they just suck the life out of you. And you totally have to be invested in that. And one such game, is part of a series, is the Trails series, and I picked up the Trails through Daybreak collector's edition from NIS. And it's still sealed, because I haven't got to it yet, is because, and this is the thing, this game is part, if you don't know, this game is part of a epic story that started in 2004, and there's been, I think this is the 11th, yeah, it's the 11th game in this series, in this kind of all overarching story and world. And at the moment, I am only in the 8th game of that series, so I got plenty of time to catch up to even get to this point in the story. However, having said that, I mean, newcomers can come into this. There's no, if you want to play it, you can play it. That's not a problem. But my problem is that I love to enjoy the story and to get all the story beats and the subplots. And if I see a character that I know that I've seen in a previous game, and to have that feel, oh my God, it's here. You know, it's, for me, that's what I enjoy about these games. So I'm really looking forward when I get to this in about 10 years time. But I can't wait. And the only reason I picked up the collector's edition, I bought it now, is because, again, FOMO, I know this will sell out by the time I get around to actually physically playing it, so at least I have it ready for me. I don't really buy collector's editions that much, purely because they're expensive, and some of the stuff you get with them aren't that good. And I only get it for games that I really like. And one such game that I got another collector's edition for is then Coffee Talk 2. The episode 2, the Hibiscus ones, and I've just announced, and I've just heard they've announced the 3rd game, Coffee Talk in Tokyo. So that's coming next year, I think, spring. So I'm really looking forward to that one. So I love the first Coffee Talk game, and this one is cool as well. I just love the story beats. I mean, you can call it a game, but it's really a visual novel. It's one of those games that if it's raining outside, it's dark, it's miserable, you don't want to go out, you don't want to do anything, you just want to, just chill indoors, just like reading a good book. Or seeing a good movie, this is the kind of game that you play. You're just listening to people's stories, you're interacting, you're making coffee, which I love. I mean, for me, it's like the most ideal game that I'm just, after a full day's work or a week of work or whatever, I can switch off, enjoy the characters in here and the story beats that you have. Look at the different coffee drinks that we have in this game. And it's fantastic, and this collector's edition is pretty cool, and I only got it because there is a wonderful acrylic display piece that's actually sitting behind me now, and that's the only reason I got this, because I thought this is a game that I love and I wanted to have kind of every little bonus feature that we had in here. The next game that I picked up was on the PlayStation 4. Was a game probably that everyone else has played, but I haven't played yet, and that was Resident Evil 4, and I got the gold edition. Now, a couple of things about this. One, it's a shame that all the DLC, the Separate Ways Ada story, is not on the disc. It's a redeemable code, which I think, guys, come on. But it is what it is. They did it with all the other gold editions they had. And the second thing is that this game is amazing. It is amazing. I was a big fan of the original Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2. I still have the Steelbook edition cover for the PlayStation 2. I remember playing that so many times, and I loved it. And this game, Capcom just knocked it out of the park. It was amazing, and I highly recommend it to anybody who just loves a good, fun, action-packed game. I mean, every part of it was awesome. I had such good fun playing this. I don't know, I'm probably a year and a half late to play this. I'm sure the whole world has played this now. But for me, I only picked it recently, and I played it, completed it, even the DLC. It's because I couldn't put it down. It was just awesome, absolutely awesome. So if you are one of the few rare people like me who have not picked this up yet and played it, just stop what you're doing and go and get it, because it is amazing. Now, moving on to some older consoles. I was at a gaming market recently, and I picked up quite a few retro games in there, and there's a couple of retro games close to me as well, so I always go in there to have a look if there's anything cool. So on the PlayStation 3, unfortunately, I picked up Tales of Grace's F, because I love the Tales of games, and I love this game because I had it digitally but not the physical. And if you're up with news of JRPGs, you know that they've announced a remaster for the PlayStation 4 or PS5. So now I've got this sitting on the PlayStation 3, which I'm not going to touch. But in any case, I'm not too bothered. It was always part of just a collector from a collections point of view, because I have all the Tales games, apart from Tales of the Abyss, because it was never released in the UK for the PlayStation 2. And the sad thing is, I also picked up Tales of Xillia 2, which I think also is going to be remastered. Sometimes you just gotta say, okay, whatever. You win some and you lose some. And the PlayStation 2 probably was my childhood, not my childhood, my teenage, I think my late teen. No, not even that. It was actually my early adulthood. So from 2001 onwards for me, the PlayStation 2 was my life. So I picked up a couple of games on there. Outrun 2, Coast to Coast. The only reason I picked it up because I misplaced my original copy, and I love this game. it's just a great game just to go to, just to have a quick blast and run around in the car and listen to the old tracks. So that was, I found that fairly cheap, so that was really good to get back into my collection. And then I also picked up Wild Arms 3. Now, I haven't played this yet, because apparently I'm in the middle of a 100-hour game at the moment, that I mentioned earlier, but I did see a video of this, and having anything Western of this, I thought, let me give it a go. I've never tried any of the Wild Arms games, so I thought, let me try it with this one, because I didn't want to go back too far to the PS1. I wanted to try on PlayStation 2, and I heard some semi-good things about this. I saw it at a fairly cheap price, so I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. Now, back to, even on the PlayStation 1, I got a couple of pickups as well, and I managed to pick up Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, I think it was Chronicles on here. I think it was Final Fantasy, which one? 4, I think it was. Now, I know Chrono Trigger is probably, the PlayStation 1 version of Chrono Trigger is the worst version of Chrono Trigger ever. Because of the load times that you have, but nonetheless, I mean, it's sealed. I'm never going to really play it on it, because I actually play it on emulation on my handheld devices, so that's the only reason. But I thought, let's just add it to the collection, and I think it's nice to have it as a nice little collector's item in here. This will never get rare. I mean, these are brand new. You can tell they're sealed, so you can tell there's still a load out there, probably because it is the worst version of Chrono Trigger to get. And then I also picked up, just for my horror collection, is Parasite Eve 2. I think I preferred Parasite Eve 1 than to this one. It did go a bit more action. The third one got even more action-packed, which I still need to pick up for the PSP. I missed out on Parasite Eve 1 on the PlayStation 1 physical, and I tried to look for it now, and it's just stupid money. So I only had it as a copy disc, because back in those days you could chip it, and you had a friend in the playground to say, hey man, what games you got? And everything was burnt on CDs. So I think I've only got it on the CDs, but I really wanted to get the original. So I might just end up getting the Japanese one, just to, again, it's an OCD thing to have them all nicely lined up on a bookshelf. So that was PlayStation 1, and I still play my PlayStation 1. You know, it's actually on my desk at the moment, because I was actually playing Bloody Roar 2 on there. I think I needed a break from work, and I thought, okay, what's the best way for me to quickly just take a quick break? And I just knocked those out and did a bit of fighting on screen. It's either that or lying down on the floor and breathing. It's gonna be okay. So moving on to a couple of books that I got, and this was a really interesting book that I recently just blind purchased some time ago. I think it was a Kickstarter thing, and it was all about console history and the making of consoles as well. And I love reading about those kind of things. And this is a beautiful book by Lost Cult, and it is the Console Chronicles. It's beautiful hardcover bound book. Look at that artwork. That's amazing. I really like that. And look at all those consoles. Whoa, that's good. So I thought, let me pick it up, and I'm glad I did, because I'm reading it, and some of the pictures that you can see, I'll show you if you can see. I'll probably do a better camera shot of it that you will see. But it's great. They've got some great images on here, and some of the stories that I read already are great. So I'm really looking forward to really digging into this a bit better, because I think that's the kind of thing that I like to read a lot. Because I actually get this magazine called Retro Gamer. If you're here in the UK, I'm sure it's published all worldwide as well. I love that magazine. I have a monthly subscription to it. And some of the articles in there, you're not going to get them on the internet. I mean, you're just not. I mean, this is proper video game journalism, shall we say. And I think some of the writers have contributed there, have contributed here, so it's all over the place. So I think this is a piece of history, I think, for video games and the consoles and the hardware side of things. I'd love to get one based on the software side of things, but where do you start, huh? But anyway, this is a beautiful book. I'm glad I got it. It's a great little coffee table book that can always pique an interest when someone's looking at it. The other book I got was, I was actually in the mall the other day and I went to Waterstones, like I always do when I'm there, and I always have a look at the graphic novel session and the manga section, just to see if there's anything there that catches my eye, or any beautiful hardcover editions of some of the stories that I have. And then I saw one manga, which is a nice thick volume, and I saw the name Takeshi Obata, and this artist is probably most famously known for his artwork on my favorite manga of all time, Death Note. It's one of my favorite animes as well, to be fair. It's exactly the same, more or less. So when I saw that name, I thought, oh, let me pick this up. And it is called All You Need Is Kill. And immediately I recognized his artwork on here. And apparently this is a adaptation of a light novel by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. I hope I got the pronunciation right. Apologies if I didn't. But it's an adaptation of that light novel, and I just got it home. I didn't really look at it. I didn't even open it when I was there. I just saw the name and I thought the title is fairly hefty. I thought, come on, let's just give it a go. So I brought it up and I've been reading it, and the story beat, it sounded really familiar, about a guy seeming to live, a soldier in the future, seeming to live the same day again and again and again, but getting killed at every single day, and trying to beat these alien monsters. And then I realized, I know this story. This story is very familiar. And I realized this is actually the story of this Tom Cruise movie, The Edge of Tomorrow, with Emily Blunt in it. And I realized, okay, that movie wasn't then an adaptation of this book, or maybe the original light novel. And I had no idea. I mean, I saw that Tom Cruise movie when he first came out. I thought it was actually a pretty cool movie, even though it was Tom Cruise, huh? But it was quite enjoyable. And I had no idea that movie was actually inspired from this. But great fun. The artwork is classic. It's awesome. So I'm glad I got this to add to my ever-growing, expanding collection of manga. Moving on to some movies. Again, when I'm always at the mall, there's only two main shops that I go into to kill time, which is Waterstones and also HMV, or the video game store, or anything remotely related to any pop culture kind of things. But I was wandering around in HMV, and I usually go to the horror section or and the manga, the anime section, and I was going through it and I just saw a title, a Blu-ray, and I couldn't believe it that they had this Blu-ray of this anime that I hadn't thought about for such a long time. Now, if you're any fan of anime, in the UK, it's Channel 4. This tells you how long ago it was. At the height of anime and manga. It's called Manga. The word anime didn't exist here in the UK back in those days. It was Manga. And there was a company called Manga Entertainment, and they took all the licenses for a lot of the over-the-top violent anime that was coming out of Japan at the time, especially from the 80s and 90s. And Channel 4 was great, and they picked up quite a few licenses, and they showed some of these animes on TV late at night. So this is when I had to physically program the VHS video recorder at the Pacific time to record these shows, and one show that I absolutely adored was called Cyber City 808, and it was a 3-part or 3-episode OVA. And I loved this show, and I still have it on VHS somewhere, recorded from TV. The opening theme tune was amazing. The stories were so, but it didn't matter. It had attitude. It was cool. The English dub still remained in here. This is a great thing. The English dub that I remember, which was pretty much every character swearing every other word, truly Americanized dub. I'm not even sure if it's actually fully translated from the original Japanese, but it didn't matter. It was cool. When you're that age, it was amazing. It was just had that raw, brash attitude and coolness of the 90s, and it was sci-fi, punk, cyberpunk kind of style as well, which was the rage and still is for me, to be honest with you. So when I saw this, I had to pick this up, and I was watching it. The same feelings came back. I was giggling so much. It was great. Again, the story beats. Maybe the last episode actually was probably my favorite story beats episode. The first one, it was okay. It was just fun. The second one was probably the worst of the 3, but the last one was probably the best. But nonetheless, when you're as old as I am, you know, when you remember those days in the UK when the hype of Japanese animation came after Akira was released, this was a part of my childhood that I really wanted to. It was so good that I heavily just bought into it impulsively. So that was great. The other movie I picked up was a horror movie, and I'm a big fan of found footage horror movies. Ever since I watched The Blair Witch, I think it's a great little genre. I know there's been so many found footage movies. Some of them have been great, some of them have been awful, just to get onto the craze. But I think every so often you do get a true kind of hidden gem, if you can say that. And I picked up this movie called The Borderlands, and this is a found footage, and it's actually a British movie set in the UK as well, and it's based on a story about some Vatican investigators coming into this remote church in the middle of this English kind of village to investigate some unusual activity. So story is great. Story is pretty cool. Some nice little scares, some creepy moments in there. The found footage things is quite realistic as well. It's not a case of, okay, just put the damn camera down and run. It was a purposeful reason why they had to document everything, so that's pretty cool. So that was good. And the ending, I mean, if you love found footage and you like shock endings, you gotta check out terrifying endings. Actually, I mean, it was actually very creepy. When you just realize, oh shit, that is what is happening. Is that really what's happening? That's the feeling I got when I watched this. So I think this is a nice little hidden gem. I haven't seen many people talk about this or seen this much in many articles. So if you can, pick it up. If you love horror, it's a great one to have a check out of. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I might do another one if people like this kind of things. Let me know in the comments of any of the things that I've shown, if you have it or you geek out about those kind of things as well. Please, let's get the comments going. That'd be awesome to engage with you all. Till next time, peace and love.